to the Cosmic Confluence podcast, where inner truth meets outer expression. I'm your host, Sana, as always, and today we are diving into a question that lives at the heart of many awakening journeys. What happens when we stop outsourcing the divine and start
Mm,
becoming it? Now, in a world which is obsessed with achievement, identity, and also chasing external validation, many of us have forgotten that our true magnetism comes from within, from remembering who we are on a soul level. And listeners, my guest today is someone who has walked the bridge from clinical therapist to sacred channel, from holding space for others to becoming the message herself.
mm.
Listeners, she works with spiritual women, mystics, and way showers to help them shed fear, unlock their voice, and also embody the divine truth encoded in their being. And listeners, this isn't a fluffy conversation. We are going to talk about what it really means to embody your spiritual truth, not as a brand, but as a way of being. So if you have ever asked, is there more to me than this? This episode is for you. So, with that, listeners, please meet my lovely guest, Sarah Asha Rose. So, Sarah, welcome to this show.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sarah, thank you so much, and it's really, really an honor to have you here. So let's start first with your journey. Then we'll come to the topic. But I would love to know. You have been a clinical therapist.
Yeah.
Now you're helping people out there to uncover, explore their spiritual side. So was there any moment of transformation? Or any life event that led you to embrace this transformation?
Yes. Wow. What a question. Ah, a a lot of information there. So yeah. So I actually, yes, I am a therapist, and I'm also a channel. So I kind of do have my toe dipped in the human and the divine. And I guess it started with my own spiritual awakening, and I was lost, confused. Really didn't know who I was at a low point in my life. Single mom, going through a divorce, struggled with money, just struggled with all of the outer stuff. And then sought spirituality, meditation, going inner, doing a lot of inner healing work. And then my spiritual gifts exploded. I think around 2014, 2015, I started channeling, and um, my ability to trans channel and speak light language really exploded. But even though I was channeling, people would come see me in groups, and um, there was a little bit of a celebrity here in on Long Island, but I had a lot of self doubt, insecurity, fears. Even though I had this connection, I still had a lot of human stuff to deal with. And at the time I made the decision to go back to school, I became a therapist and just did a lot of inner work on myself and have really, I suppose, um, this is where we meet here now, understanding that both are important. So I think at that time, I maybe sought my spiritual connection was a form of escapism. So I would feel really beautiful in the higher realms of consciousness, like divine bliss, joy, love. And then I would come back into my human self, and there was a lot of sadness and problems. So I think where we're meeting today is that you need to heal your humanity, that your humanity is the gateway for your divinity. And so that's really what I lead with. Yes, help people to connect, to remember the truth of who they are, and to enforce that connection and improve their intuition. But we don't ignore the human side, because acceptance and love is how we get to that. If so, I hope I answered your question. I know it's a lot of information.
Exactly, and asked so many questions, Sarah. But I really loved how you mentioned the self doubt, sadness, the fear,
Yeah.
uh, as the human stuff, because
Mm.
and then also you also mentioned about that uh, you embrace spirituality maybe to be a way of escapism.
Yeah.
So there's quite a great blend of the human side and the spiritual side here.
Mm.
So how how did you come at the intersection of both of them? Like, because
Mm.
being a single mom and then uh, going through divorce and coming out after that, it really really creates so huge amount of self doubt in you. And
Mm.
can I mean we can really go into a rabbit hole of kind of questioning our own existence, or maybe
Mhm.
questioning the way we are. So how did you come at the intersection of both of these sides, the human side and the spirituality side?
Yeah, that's a great question. And as you were talking, I was thinking, well, I don't know. But actually, I think I kind of do know. I think that what happened was I would feel like an imposter or a fraud, when I would channel um, the divine, would come through me with these profound messages, and my soul knew this, right? My soul, but the human side was still, well, how can I deliver these messages when I myself struggle with doubt, or I myself, how can I help others? And I really struggled with that. Like, I'm an imposter, I'm a fraud, and but then what happened was my guidance, my connection, my guides, God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, taught me that you must love your darkness, you must love your shadow, you must come to terms with the pain, with the sadness, with the obstacles, because that is the only way you transform. That is the only way you can heal others is by healing yourself. So everything that I would teach others, I was actually at the same time simultaneously learning for myself. So I was both like this channel, but and also the student, so teacher and the student. And I just got this feeling that I had to surrender.
Mhm.
I think in the beginning I had this, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna channel, and I'm gonna heal all these people and this, and then I just surrendered and let go of all of that. And I just started to love and heal myself and do what felt good for me. And then if it led to all of that, then so be it. But I think it was a combination of self-acceptance, of healing, going into the darkness, not being afraid to do that, not being afraid to look at the darkness, and surrendering and just allowing, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sarah. Absolutely. Because, people would think sometimes, oh, this is selfish. You're just doing it for yourself. But
Mm.
I would disagree with that, because until and unless, and we cannot pour or give something to someone from an empty vessel.
That's
So
right.
until and unless we fill ourselves with love
Yes.
and humility, we cannot do other people
That's right.
and Sarah, you mentioned about spirituality, kind of could be a way of escapism, and
Yeah.
that's where many people, when they hear the word divine, they still think of it something far away, external,
Mm,
kind of
mm.
impractical, more from a point of influence, and just I don't know, there are negative connotations to that. But
Mhm.
how would you define the divine now, and how has that definition evolved since your time as a therapist?
Yes, that's a beautiful question. Divine, you're right. I think a lot of people do think that it means you've ascended in some sort of state of nirvana where you're, the monk on the mountaintop. But we already are divine, right? Like, that's who we are. That's the truth of who we are. We already are that. We were born that way. The human experience really is a lesson in remembering that. We came here to separate from our divinity, to remember it, to reconnect to it. So your divinity really is the pure essence of your soul. It's the truth of who you are. It's your innocence, right? It's your purity. It's the sort of clean slate before you were, written upon to forget to have this human experience. But it's all of you, and it's inside of you. It's not outside. It's that voice that whispers to you, keep going forward. It's that gentle knowing, the whisper. um, it is in you, and so we connect to it through stillness and silence, um, and that's how we hear it, right? So you don't need to go anywhere else. You just need to be quiet to hear it. So you already are divine. That's who we are. That's our birthright. That's our that's our truth. And I know all this because I've remembered it, sort of. It's like we're in a sleeping state of forgetting, and we think that this outer world, material world, the outer world is who we are, what we have, but it's really not. It's just a reflection of our inner state of being, right? Everything on the outside, yeah, everything on the outside is an inner state of being from the inside. So, yeah.
Once again, I couldn't agree with you more because um, the way we see our external, whether it's people or places or situations, um, I mean, that's exactly the mystery of the mind, the psychology,
Mm,
that we take it in a very negative way, then we always would mostly see the negativity of things. Some
mm.
adversities, they can provide you such golden opportunity
Yeah,
to kind of peel away the old selves of like
yeah.
we're like an onion. Um,
Mhm.
that's exactly what happened with you as well, Sarah, and that's why whatever you are saying right now, it's so much kind of resonating with me as well.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
and that's really really it's empowering. Um,
Mm.
it does take time. It does take time. It
Oh,
does.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Can't rush
One
that.
Yeah. And one thing that you mentioned is the silence.
Mm,
Yesterday I was having a conversation on another podcast about how right now we are so much in chaos and noise and clutter that even silence seems to be not affordable and
mm,
available to everyone.
mm.
So, it's really really important to n- embrace the silence and try to listen to the whispers of our body, our soul, our own
Right.
selves, because the divine is within us.
That's right. Absolutely.
Um, and also, Sarah, in your experience, what does it tangibly feel like when someone is embodying their spiritual truth versus just talking about it? Like you have had interactions with so many people, you are helping them. So if you can
Mm.
give an example of how it looks like
Yeah.
practice.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. I think the difference is, right, when you are embodying your truth, you're not in a state of urgency. You're not in a state of lack. You're not, I have to make this happen, or I have to have this goal, or I have to have this thing. You're just in a state of being. So you sort of are in a state of acceptance and not, I think that term is misunderstood. You know, some people think if I accept my state of being, that means I don't want to improve. And no, it's more when you reach this state of acceptance, you understand that you already are everything that you want to become. You already are that. So the difference, I think, is when you're not that, you're very concerned with how. How am I going to make this happen? And I have to have this. And when you come to a state of knowing that you already are everything you need to be, you're sort of surrendering the how, and you're just focused on being.
Mhm.
because you're already content. You know that you are everything you need. When you're not in that state, you're looking for it on the outside, right? So a lot of people who I see that um their happiness, they're looking for their partner to change, or they're
Mm.
looking for something outside of them to fulfill them, right? And it's like that external quest for happiness. But when you've, I suppose, found that within yourself, that's a constant source you can tap. So your life really changes because you don't need, there's not that urgent need to find a partner or find a job because you can sort of let those things unravel as you start to get to know yourself because you're comfortable with the state of being who you are. I hope this is making sense.
No, I hate that. No, it's because it's coming from the real raw experiences. So, I mean, and you are describing something that is more from a perspective of energy. Um, and sir, do you have any daily practices that you do to keep you grounded, centered? Because especially when spiritual bypassing is so easy to fall into.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess spiritual bypassing really is that um the idea that we don't look at the uncomfortable parts of ourselves, right? That we're just concerned on the lighter aspects and you know, but it's the light and the dark that make up the whole, right? So we are both those things. So I guess for, a spiritual practice, one of the things that I think anyone listening would really benefit from is the next time something uncomfortable comes your way, um,
Mhm.
whether it's an uncomfortable feeling, someone triggers you, right? Really just to pause and stop instead of reacting to it, just stop, pause, and then change your perspective. And wow, this is a blessing. This
Yeah,
thing that's happening to me, it's for my higher purpose. It's for me to see it, to heal it, to release it. So wow, thank you, universe. Whatever someone's doing, this person fired me. Thank you. I lost my job. Thank you. And I know that sounds hard to do, but it's when you can change your perspective that way and stop and pause and embrace the uncomfort a little bit. And this is okay. Oh, this is okay. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. This is okay. You completely, you completely change the energy. You completely change your direction. You're lifted. And that's when you start transforming, when you can start to really embrace the uncomfort. Um, so next time something happens today, tomorrow, stop, pause. Wow, what a blessing. And see if that helps. It might take a while, but
yeah.
it's really helped me in my life. Really, really helped me.
I 100%, not even 100%, if there was something other number to justify that, but I so much agree with that. It may, yeah, it may be initially hard to accept the fact that,
Yeah.
the worst moments in your life could be um looked with a different perspective. But once again, um, I from my personal experiences as well, Sarah, whether I got laid off, I lost my job,
Mm.
kind of lost myself, I got burnt out. So at
Mm.
that time, I didn't think about the opportunities those moments of darkness were giving me. But
Yeah.
now, when I look right now, and I go back to those moments, I I really thank maybe the higher force or power. I thank myself as well that I was able to get out get out of those dark moments.
Mm. Yes, because it's those moments that really I mean, I'm thankful for them. If I didn't, you know, have some of the loss and the grief and the heartache that I've had, I wouldn't be able to be here talking to you now. I wouldn't be able to everything, every rejection, right? Every pain has taught me to love myself more. And without it, yeah, I wouldn't be who I am. Yeah.
That's a beautiful statement, Sarah.
Mm. Mhm.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. And before we wrap up, Sarah, of course, do you believe spiritual embodiment is for everyone? I mean, I'll just, for the interest of time, I'll just collapse into these two questions into one. Do you
Mhm.
think that if we do need um some moments of maybe um loss, grief, or maybe coming at the rock bottom to understand the true authentic selves of ourselves, or we can maybe take others guidance and support to explore that?
Yeah, I think that it's hard to take somebody else's advice when you haven't yet experienced it for yourself, right? So yes, I think it's kind of a yes and no answer. So,
Um,
some things are, right? So I think it depends on what the situation is, but if you really want to learn to love yourself fully, truly, right, then you have to be willing to look at the places where you don't. And
mm,
that requires going through some sort of initiation. That initiation will depend on the person. Not everyone will need to hit rock bottom. It really will depend, but we all need to be initiated. That's how we become reborn, right? It's
mm,
it's just the nature of being human. And so I think that it's just part of the process. And to the degree to which that happens will depend on where you're at. But if you, I think your first question was like, is this all worthwhile? Are we all spiritual? Should we all do this? Um, and I would say, well, yeah, because we're all spirit, you know, we all are. And how I how I reach my self-acceptance or self-love or might be different from somebody else. However you get to it is okay. But are you creating time for yourself? Are you taking time to silence the noise and find out who you really are? That's the really bottom line because the more you do that work, the more rewarding your life will be. And how you get to that place is up to you, really, you know?
true, true. Beautiful, beautiful, Sarah. So if our listeners they would like to connect with you, what will be the best way?
Sure. So you can visit me at sarah-asharose.com, and you can also find me on Instagram, Sarah Asha Rose, YouTube, Asha Rose Healing. And I'm also launching a podcast soon, Divinely Human, which will be on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. So look for that as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'll make sure to have all the links and details in the show notes for our listeners. And Sarah, this was such a beautiful conversation. I really feel like it reminded me personally, and I'm very sure for our listeners as well, that embodying our spiritual truth, it isn't about transcending life. It's about inhabiting it more fully, and in that process we become uh, uh, humble, we become open. Of openness we have clarity, and
Mhm.
also we can deal with probably our internal problems and external circumstances in a better way.
That's
um,
absolutely right. Yes.
so thank you so much for uh, taking this forward and helping all the other people out there, sharing your insights.
Oh, thank you so much. This was wonderful.
And to all the listeners out there of Cosmic Confluence, your voice carries a vibration. Your presence shifts energy. Your truth is magnetic. Not because it's perfect, but because it's real. So, to all the listeners out there, if something stirred inside you today, don't rush to decode it. Sit with it, let it unfold, and remember, you're not separate from the divine. You are its expression. So,
Mm.
until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and keep weaving the cosmic with the human. To connect with Sarah, just refer to the show notes along with this episode. This is Cosmic Confluence, and I'm your host, Sana. Thank you for being here.